During the holidays, my wife, Diana, who was all for traveling abroad, changed her mind last minute and left me stranded in a foreign country while she headed back home. I wasn't upset, and I just finished the trip alone. When I got home, Diana's first love sent a short video. It was made up of thousands of photos of Diana and him traveling around domestically, hiking, skiing, and bungee jumping. The caption read, "Vacation means holding your lover's hand and exploring the country." I commented wishing them well, and Diana threatened me to delete it. She said she'd divorce me if I kept being jealous. Little did she know, I had been waiting for her to say that for a long time. Early the morning before the vacation ended, Diana's call woke me up. At the airport, both Tim and I landed about half an hour apart. He came to pick us up. I used to always go pick Diana up when she got back from trips. This time, I just hung up the call. I turned over and went back to sleep. I don't know how late it was, but the bedroom door suddenly slammed open. Diana stormed in, yanked the pillow from my side, and slammed the door shut on her way out. I was awake but still groggy. Then came the sounds of things being thrown around in the living room. It went on for so long I had no choice but to get up to ask her to keep it down. But Diana shot back with a sarcastic tone. "Oh, you can wake up? I thought you'd slept like a log after hanging up on me. So what if I left you abroad while I traveled with Tim for a few days? Do you really have to be jealous until now? You're a grown man. If you wanted to stay, you could have stayed or come back if you didn't. Was that too hard?" I rubbed my temple and said, "That's not it." "Then what do you mean by wishing Tim and me happiness on his video? Don't think I don't know your little games. Tim is way more tolerant and generous than you as a man. Tonight, if it wasn't for him keeping me company while waiting for the car, I might not have made it home. Do you think you've been a competent husband? Just because Tim waited with her for a car, he was seen as exceptional. My 6 years of perfect care, on the other hand, became worthless. I didn't feel like arguing with her, so I just calmly said, "You've misunderstood. I just wanted you to keep it down or the neighbors will complain." Diana looked shocked, her face turning a deep shade of red from anger, before slamming the door and going back to the bedroom. Finally, it was quiet. I let out a breath. I turned off the living room lights and noticed the mess, especially the shattered wedding photo. Diana hates taking photos, so we only had that one from our 6 years of marriage. I placed it in the most visible spot at home. I never thought it would end up smashed. Then I remembered seeing those thousands of photos Tim had posted from their trip and felt really sarcastic about it all. I didn't bother to clean up the mess, just went back to bed. The next morning, I woke up naturally. Diana was gone, and the living room mess was cleaned up. The wedding photo was put away. Surprised me. She never does any housework. My phone rang suddenly. It was my boss, Eric. "Are you sure about going abroad for a year with the company? Have you discussed it with your wife? You can't change it later." I reassured them multiple times before they hung up, relieved. 3 years ago, I passed up a similar opportunity to care for Diana. My former colleagues got promoted and are doing way better than me now. This time, I'm not missing any chances. Then, a text popped up on my phone. "Where we had our first date, noon sharp. I'll be waiting." I froze. It was rare for Diana to invite me to lunch. After a fight like last night, she'd usually give me the cold shoulder for at least 3 days. Maybe she felt guilty about the trip? Regardless of her reasoning, it was time to lay everything on the table. The place we first dated was where my favorite restaurant was. I'd invited Diana there many times, but she was always busy. If she'd asked me there back then, I'd have been so touched, thinking I held a special place in her heart. Now, it felt fitting as a breakup ritual. After more than an hour's wait and 3 chiding visits from the waiter, Diana still wasn't there. I texted her and noticed her profile picture. Before the vacation, we had matching couple pictures. But after she left me for Tim during the trip, it became a solo landscape picture. It was clear where her heart lay. I used to be torn up over it, but now it seemed like a good thing. At least when we discussed divorce, it would go smoothly. 5 minutes passed since I messaged her, and there was no response. She used to be late for dates all the time, and I'd patiently wait. I'd never dare to ask her whereabouts for fear she'd think I was rushing her. But now she was the one who set this up and she's still late. I went ahead, ordered, and started eating without waiting for her. After half an hour, once I was full and ready to pay, Diana finally arrived, only to see an empty table with remnants of my meal. Her face darkened instantly. I wasn't here yet. Why'd you start? I pointed at the time, calmly stating, you're 2 hours late. Diana started to say something but then stopped, scowling as she sat across from me, taking out a ring from her bag with a since I'm being the bigger person attitude. Here, the gift you always wanted. I got it on my trip especially for you. If I hadn't richly indulged in the self-torture of scrutinizing each of those thousands of photos Tim posted, I wouldn't have recognized that the ring was from the same brand as the one on Tim's finger. Except Diana's one was a complimentary giveaway, and it didn't even fit. I didn't take it and just said flatly, no need, give it to Tim. Diana suddenly got irritated. Eric, what's your problem now? I told you Tim and I are history. That trip was just a promise from our youth. Can't you let it go? I asked you out today, gave you a gift, not to hear you speak so sarcastically. Do you want this ring or not? If not, I'll throw it away. She acted like she was about to toss it in the trash and waited for me to stop her. Once, when she threw things, I'd always clean up after her. She thought I was just putting up a front and would stop her from throwing the ring away, maybe even dig through the trash for it. But she was wrong. I calmly pulled out a document from behind me and said, Diana, let's get divorced. Diana paused, surprised, and asked, what did you say? I repeated myself, pointing to the terms, and said, 70% of the marital property goes to you. Any objections? Diana's eyes widened with disbelief. She stood up and pointed at me, her face full of anger, her voice trembling. You're divorcing me over something so small? Eric, nice of you to outgrow us. I told her that only she could propose the divorce. I didn't have the right. Then she grabbed the papers and tore them up in anger. She stormed off, leaving me confused. Wasn't Diana supposed to want a divorce so she could be with Tim? Why was she so furious? Was it because she thought the settlement wasn't enough? I didn't want to guess anymore. A marriage can't hold someone against their will. I'm moving out tonight and preparing to work abroad. I won't be coming back. After wrapping up at work, I came home to pack. I didn't have much in the house. Everything fit into one suitcase. Just as I was about to leave, Diana came back. Her expression changed when she saw the suitcase. She hurried over and asked, where are you going? You're leaving just because of what I said at lunch? How old are you? I said calmly, I'm not making a scene, just clearing things up. My response didn't convince her. She scrutinized me, seeing through my intentions. You're just jealous of Tim, aren't you? Fine, I'll stop hanging out with him if it bothers you. Her tone softened. Come on, bring your things back. I'm starving, go make me something. In the past, whenever we fought and she said she was hungry, it was her way of making peace. I'd usually give in and cook, but now I found it ridiculous. Just as I was about to say something, Diana stood on her toes and kissed me lightly. Be good, and make dinner. I'll give you a massage tonight, okay? Before, a gesture like that would have melted away all my anger, but now it just made me feel nauseous. I took a step back and said, there's no need. The car's waiting downstairs. Diana was instantly insulted. Pointing at the door, she yelled, Eric, if you leave today, don't ever come back. Without hesitation, I grabbed the suitcase and headed out. Just then, Tim appeared at the door. He scanned the both of us before smiling. Eric, I came over to give Diana the photos from our trip. Want to see them? Before I could respond, he showed me a photo of them cheek to cheek in front of a waterfall. Diana looks cute in this one, doesn't she? He made sure to flaunt the ring Diana had given him. Diana's expression shifted, and she hastily snatched the photos away. Eric, don't mind Tim, he's just carefree. I knew she was feeling guilty, but surprisingly, I wasn't mad. Instead, I smiled easily. It's fine, you guys chat. I'm leaving now. I started to move again, but Tim blocked my way with fake niceties. Diana cut in sharply. Don't stop him. Let him leave. She shot me a nasty look and dragged him inside. Go wherever you want. Tim, stay with me tonight. I knew she was trying to make me jealous. In the past, it would have driven me crazy to stop them from being alone together. But now, I only wished to leave this messy situation. I checked into a nearby hotel, a place I usually stayed when Diana kicked me out after fights. However, this time was different. I was genuinely leaving. I had a flight to catch the next day. As for the divorce, I'll wait for Diana to figure things out before coming back to finalize it. Right now, my job is the most important thing. Scrolling through my phone that night, I saw Diana's post. She was in a bathrobe taking a mirror selfie. Behind her, a man was blow-drying her hair wearing my clothes. The man wasn't fully shown, but it was obviously Tim. Her caption was suggestive. Love is his promise of tenderness only for you. I knew they were into each other, but I didn't expect them to flaunt it. I guess this was meant to provoke me, but I felt nothing. Then I saw a comment from her brother. Congrats! Brother-in-law treats sister so well. Diana's family never liked me much because I wasn't local. Her brother had never called me brother-in-law before. Clearly, he was referring to Tim. I realized they were close, but it didn't matter now. I exited the app and switched to watching videos of models. Before, I avoided looking at other women's profiles, afraid it would cause further fights with Diana. Now I was finally free. Just as I was about to sleep, Diana's brother called, questioning me. Eric, are you just gonna let someone else be with my sister at home? What kind of man are you? That was the first time he seemed concerned about my marriage with Diana. He often hoped we'd break up, so I knew someone must have put him up to it. I replied, it's your new brother-in-law. Don't worry about it. I hung up, ignoring his continued explanations. The next morning, I was woken by Mike's call. Eric, did you and your wife fight? She posted something about wanting a divorce last night. What happened? His words reminded me, and I checked Diana's late-night post. Is there a point to a marriage where the man isn't in love? Plenty of shared friends were gossiping below. I updated Mike on my decision to divorce and leave the country in the afternoon. He tried to reason, you've loved Diana for so long. You sure you're gonna give this up? Seems like she still cares about you. Real heartbreak isn't caused by one or two incidents. It's a build-up of accumulated disappointment. When Mike saw I was determined, he stopped trying to persuade me. He took me out for a meal and personally drove me to the airport. At the airport lobby, Mike went to the restroom while I waited for him. I didn't expect to run into Diana and Tim, along with Diana's brother-in-law and a few of her girlfriends. Diana, Tim just got together with you and now he's going on a business trip. Aren't you going to miss him? Of course I will. They were a couple back in school. Diana and Tim stood close together, a bit of a shy smile on their faces. Hey sis, why don't you divorce worthless Eric and be with Tim? He'll definitely make you happier, her brother-in-law teased with a grin. Diana playfully hit him but didn't deny it. I wanted to move further away so she wouldn't see me. But things didn't go my way, and I suddenly heard Diana's voice from behind. Eric! She walked over quickly, leaving me no choice but to turn around. Diana looked a bit surprised, with a touch of smugness, and snorted, Aren't you dead set on divorcing me? Why are you stalking us? Did you hear Tim's leaving and suddenly got nervous? Feeling a bit overwhelmed, I said, No. Diana cut me off, looking like she had me all figured out, and laughed. Still pretending? I posted those 2 moments on purpose for you to see. I know what's going on in your mind. I'm not holding it against you, but you must apologize to Tim for your jealousy and misunderstanding. Maybe then, I'll consider forgiving you. I frowned, watching her monologue, unable to help saying, I'm not stalking you. I'm leaving the country for work. Diana scoffed, just as Mike returned and overheard, Diana, Eric's really going abroad. I'm the one who brought him. Diana impatiently frowned. Eric, I've agreed to forgive you, right? And now you get a friend to act out some charade to trick me? What's the point? At this point, Tim, the brother-in-law, and the girlfriends came over, accusing me of being a stalker and liar. It's not true, I honestly... Enough. Keep this up, and don't be surprised if I really leave you, Diana said coldly, grabbing my suitcase, giving an ultimatum. Just then, an airport announcement rang out. Will Mr. Eric, please proceed to the boarding gate for verification. In the next moment, I freed my suitcase from Diana's grip, signaled to Mike, and rushed to check in. Diana stood there, stunned, in disbelief. Eric, stop right there. Who said you could leave the country? How could you make such a decision without consulting me? Diana snapped back to reality, running after me and shouting. But I quickened my pace, entering the boarding area. Somewhere in the chaos, I heard what seemed like Diana hitting the ground heavily, crying and calling my name anxiously. Soon, her brother-in-law and the rest were helping her up. Diana's cries lingered long in my mind. It felt a bit strange. She would actually cry for me. I only remembered her angrily nitpicking me all these 6 years, but maybe I did leave a mark in her heart. But I knew, it's a feeling you only get when you've lost something. If I turned back, it would just be the same old story all over again. As I prepared to board, my phone buzzed nonstop. All the messages were from Diana. They were more words combined than she texted me all year. Eric, why didn't you tell me you're leaving? I'm your wife. Didn't you promise to be with me forever? What am I supposed to do? Have you even thought about it? I didn't bother to scroll through the rest. I went to her social media, screenshotted the post of Tim drying her hair, and sent it to her with a simple reply. I'll have time to come back for the divorce paperwork later. Diana responded instantly, I don't agree. Her speed shocked me. I used to text her, and I'd wait at least an hour for a reply if I even got one. She quickly called, but I rejected the video call. The message barrage continued. I told you those posts were just to make you see. Nothing's going on with Tim. Come back right now. Do you hear me? Tim wearing my pajamas can't just be Photoshop, right? I was too tired to expose her, so I turned off my phone, found my seat, and fell asleep. When I got off the plane and saw the foreign scenery, I felt a lot of emotions. Maybe it was meant to be. On my vacation, Diana left me alone here, and a few days later I found myself back in the same place. I suffered back then with my poor foreign language skills. I accidentally bumped into a local who punched me without a word. Even though I knocked him down, he found a gang to rob me. I was broke and couldn't communicate with anyone locally. Almost couldn't make it back. Luckily, a Chinese-American student named Linda helped me out. She loaned me money and took me to the police. That was when I lost all hope in Diana. After checking into the hotel, I called Linda and told her I'd be living here from now on. Linda immediately offered to hang out since her college was nearby. I invited her to dinner. While we were chatting, Mike suddenly called. He sounded apologetic. Sorry, Eric. Diana pressured me so much. I had to confess about your overseas trip. She might be looking for you. But I told him not to worry. Diana is confident. She'd likely wait a few days before calling to instruct me to come back. She wouldn't leave her job, ask for time off, and come find me. Nor would she stoop low to win me back. At the airport, Diana cried for me. After heading home, she'll definitely regret showing vulnerability. After hanging up, I noticed many delivery notifications on my phone, urging me to pick up parcels. I remembered Diana always used my number for her orders, expecting me to collect them, which she never did herself. I copied the messages and forwarded them to Diana, only to find she'd blocked me. Well, that's one less hassle. Then, I started discussing my plans with Linda. She was interesting, and everything I said seemed to land well. Two people burst into laughter without a care in the world. Thinking about the 6 years with Diana, it's been forever since we've had such a pleasant meal and chat. Even our usual married life felt routine and dull. In hindsight, I feel like those years were wasted. If I had put that energy into work, who knows where I'd be now. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. It was a call from my brother-in-law. I hesitated but answered anyway. Hey bro, sorry about today. Could you talk to my sister? Since leaving the airport, she's been crying and has drunk herself silly. I'm really worried about her. She's scared something might happen. We used to have a rocky relationship. He always either wanted money or gave me attitude, saying his sister wasted her time marrying me. Even though I helped pay for his wedding, he never seemed grateful. He was trying to patch things up, but I cut in, your sister's blocked me. There was a pause, and he lowered his voice. Sis, How's Eric supposed to make up with you if you block him? I heard some rustling and then Diana came to the phone. Her voice was hoarse and teary. What do you want from me? Haven't you already left me? Didn't you just up and go to work abroad without even asking how I felt? You promised when we got married that you'd never make me cry, but today I've cried so much for you. Don't think you can just smooth things over easily. My ear was ringing from the noise, and I didn't really want to interrupt her little drama, but Linda was waiting for me. So, I cleared my throat. You've got it wrong. I called to ask you to change your delivery address for your online shopping. Stop sending it to me. I forwarded today's message to your brother. I'm not handling it anymore. Right after I said that, an angry scream blasted through the phone. Eric, you jerk. Luckily, I hung up fast enough. Linda was startled and asked, what was that about? I smiled awkwardly, my ex-wife. Linda touched her chin, thinking, oh, she's the one who left you stranded abroad. Huh? That wasn't cool of her. How long were you guys together? Are you really over it? What was she like? She blinked at me curiously. A memory flashed in front of my eyes. 8 years ago, I met Diana at a business dinner. I was playing the piano on stage, and she, wearing a light yellow evening dress, was staring at me enchanted. Afterward, she approached and exchanged contact info with me. My first impression of her was elegance. Over time, we contacted each other more and naturally ended up together. After 2 years of dating, we walked down the aisle. At first, she was gentle and caring, cooked, did laundry, and would buy thoughtful gifts on holidays. I gladly gave her everything I could. But then, she became indifferent, only taking and demanding. Now she's drained all my feelings for her. Sharing my past with Diana stirred a lot of emotions. Perhaps wanting to spare my feelings, Linda started sharing her relationship history. Turns out she had just gotten out of a relationship too. She and her ex had planned to return home after studying abroad. But then he met someone else during a vacation and left her to get married. We could definitely relate to each other's struggles. After dinner, she took me shopping nearby. Last time I was here, I was drowning in the pain of being left by Diana, hardly enjoying myself. This time I planned to have fun. Just as Linda dragged me into a pose for a photo, Diana called. I ignored it, but she kept calling. Feeling awkward, Linda suggested, why don't you answer? I'll go grab us some water. I nodded and picked up the call. Diana's pitiful voice came through, honey, I've got a cold. I stayed silent. Diana's voice trembled more. Where's the cold medicine? Without you, I don't know what to do. Slightly exasperated, I said, second shelf of the coffee table. Go to the hospital if you're sick. I can't find it. Could you come take care of me? She pleaded, sounding spoiled. I replied firmly, Diana, my decision isn't a joke. We're done. But I don't want it to be over. I never agreed to this. We're still legally married. You can't just abandon me. Please, can't you stop being angry? I've fallen ill. Linda returned with a greeting. Is bottled water okay? I answered, sure. Suddenly Diana screamed through the phone. Why is there a woman's voice? Eric, where are you? We haven't divorced. How can you see another woman? Eric, you jerk. I hung up immediately. Feeling awkward, Linda asked, should I not have spoken? I shook my head. Ignore her. We tried to enjoy the rest of the day, but our minds were elsewhere. By the river, Linda seriously remarked, it's a big world. 2 people falling in love isn't easy. Your ex-wife seems unable to let go. Are you sure about your decision? I smiled faintly, the water's already spilled. I cherished our marriage so much, and that's why I ended it decisively. No one understands the heartache behind this love more than me. By evening, I parted ways with Linda and returned to the hotel to rest. The next day, I reported for work as usual. Everything went smoother than expected. I just needed to improve my language skills, so I asked Linda to tutor me one-on-one. Within 3 days, I rented a place near the office. Life ran smoothly. Then on the 4th afternoon, as I was busy at work, I got an alert someone was looking for me. I went downstairs and saw Diana. My brow furrowed. She walked up to me, clinging to my arm, right as a coworker passed by and greeted me. Diana sweetly introduced herself. I'm Eric's wife. I suddenly remembered how she used to make me keep my distance at her old job, embarrassed to be seen by colleagues. Until one day we were spotted shopping together, and she simply explained, just a friend. I don't get why she was hiding things, throwing tantrums, and then just left me hanging until it all fizzled out. Now, she suddenly wants to make our relationship public. But it's too late. I pulled Diana to a quiet corner and got straight to the point. So, what do you really want? I didn't think she'd actually come all the way here to find me. But I underestimated her. Diana looked at me smugly, head held high like she had me figured out. Eric, quit your job and come back home with me. Her directive was just laughable. There was a time I'd do anything for her, but now, she thinks a simple ask would make me drop my career. I still remember clearly how she used to belittle me for not earning as much as her friends' husbands, mocking me. I have to think twice about buying a diamond necklace. My girlfriends, they just buy whatever. And then she'd hit me with, reflect on yourself, will you? A man with no ambition, what good are you to me? But if she hadn't interrupted me on important projects time and again, maybe I'd have achieved more by now. I let out a sigh and said coldly, absolutely not. Her face changed slightly. Eric, I've traveled all this way. Can you stop being stubborn and come back with me? She reached to grab me. I didn't want to wrestle with her, but she was persistent, demanding clarity. Then Tim rushed over and shoved me. Eric, don't touch her. His appearance both surprised and didn't surprise me. Diana looked a bit tense. Eric, Tim's just helping me not get lost. Don't misunderstand, she said quickly, then hurriedly told Tim he didn't hit me earlier. Tim adopted an apologetic expression, saying, sorry, man, I was just worried about Diana. I have nothing with her, so don't fight about it. Diana's having a hard time alone here. Even if she made you mad, you can't just not forgive. Tim always acted so gentlemanly. But I saw the smugness and provocation in his eyes. I didn't want to play their game. Diana, stop bothering me. Let's part on good terms. Without saying more, I walked away. She looked at me, devastated, like she couldn't accept it. After work in the evening, I thought they'd be long gone. But as soon as I stepped out of the office, Diana appeared out of nowhere and stopped me. She seemed to have regained her composure. Eric, heading home? I'll join you. Reluctantly, I let her come with me. Back home, I planned to have a serious talk with Diana. So what do you want? Is it about the divorce settlement? Diana was stunned, looking at me incredulously. You think I'm after money? What else could it be? I was puzzled. For love? Sorry, but in these past 6 years, I haven't felt loved by her. Now I'm done. Diana was silent for a long while, then she suddenly lowered her head and apologized for the first time. I'm sorry, honey. I've been terrible these years. I love you and don't want to leave you. Last time I met Tim, I admit I was emotionally straying, but I didn't cheat. You've spoiled me, and I've lost my patience with you. This is all my fault. Let's not divorce, okay? In the past, I would have never dreamed Diana would apologize and reflect. But now, it's too late. Just as I was about to refuse, Diana got up abruptly and rushed to the kitchen. In that instant, I noticed her eyes were red. Then she started cooking. First time since we got married. In 6 years, she hadn't cooked. She was so clumsy, almost cutting her hand. After slicing the veggies, she looked at me pitifully, eyes brimming with tears. I knew she was playing the helpless act to appeal to my protective instincts, a tactic that might have worked before. Now it just irked me. Seeing it didn't work, she put down the food, came over, and clung to my arm, trying to rest on my shoulder. I impatiently shrugged her off. Yet she didn't get angry. Instead, she began undressing. Honey, you've always wanted a child. Can we try tonight? Diana knew I wanted kids, always wanting to be a dad. In our 6 years, even couples who married after us like Mike already had kids. But Diana always refused, citing how childbirth was damaging for women. Because of love, I respected her choice. Now, I'm just grateful I didn't bring a kid into this world too soon, one that might feel neglected due to divorce. Diana undressed, but I just turned to leave. didn't want to look at her at all. Her crying became more intense as she scrambled to put her clothes back on. Don't go, honey, I'll dress. I'm sorry. Diana tugged my hand, choking on her words. What do I have to do for you to forgive me? Let's go back to the way things were. I'll listen to you, won't be spoiled anymore. Keep your job, I'll stay here with you. Oh, I almost forgot. I got you something. Diana pulled out a neatly wrapped box from her bag. Inside was our wedding photo, the one she had shattered. I shouldn't have broken it, I know it hurt you, so I repaired it. I promise, during every holiday, I'll travel with you. We'll take hundreds, no thousands, tens of thousands of photos. I glanced at the photo and simply said, throw it away. Diana looked at me in agony, as if she'd given everything and still couldn't change my mind. She snapped, what do you want? I've done everything. I've never begged anyone like this. Enough already. How long did it take for you to show your true colors again? I can't take it anymore, so I opened the door. Leave. I don't want to argue with you. See you in court. Diana glares at me furiously. You. Right then, Linda walks by, surprised to see me and Diana. I feel like I've seen my savior. I pull her along. Let's grab a bite. But Linda glances at Diana. With teary eyes, Diana pushes Linda away aggressively. Who's this homewrecker? Eric and I aren't even divorced yet. Enough of you. I'd finally had all I could take and snapped. Diana, get out. You're telling me to leave? Yes, if you have any shame at all, leave. My coldness crushed her dignity. She broke down and ran off. In the following days, I heard she went back home. Mike told me Tim was often at my place, getting close with Diana. Mike thought I might be upset, but I felt pretty relieved. Finally, a month later, Diana texted me. Come back to handle the paperwork. I agree to the divorce. I rushed back home and met her at the entrance of the Civil Affairs office. For the first time, she wasn't late. Have you thought about me during these days? I stayed silent. I thought about it, but not with fondness, more with regret. But this wasn't the place for such words. Diana looked at me sadly. All right, I get it. Let's split everything 50-50. Thanks. We successfully finalized the divorce. Back to being single, I didn't stay long and hurried back to share the news with Linda. During this time, I'd started to have feelings for her. Things moved pretty fast between us. A year later, I returned with Linda, having moved up 2 job levels with a salary more than 5 times higher. We got married and had kids. Years later, I heard about Diana. Apparently, she married Tim soon after our divorce. I heard it was a shotgun wedding. After that, Tim showed his true self. Not only did he make her do all the housework, but he also forced her to quit her job and focus solely on the family. Then Tim cheated with a female coworker. Their on and off relationship didn't even last 2 years before they divorced. Diana raised their child alone. I heard she even changed the child's last name to mine. When I found out, I was puzzled, not sure why she'd do that. Was she longing for our past? But there's no going back. Happiness is cherishing the ones we have now. I'll continue living each day with my wife and kids by my side.